So in this video I'm going to show you the solution to this puzzle, which is a puzzle in the game Quern. It's in the mines, it's like an electricity type puzzle. So you can see that it has 4 points and you can move the lever around those 4 points and use the little crank in the top right to activate it. It also has this lit up portion. It's a bit hard to notice at first, but basically this is what you're aiming for. So when you're adding and deleting charge, you really want it to equal this point. There's also little lines throughout the bar graph which you can give numbers to. So it starts with 0, and then the line that goes from green to yellow is 6, from yellow to red is 11, and then the final point is the 15th line. We also have this clue on the wall behind it with positive and negative symbols. So it's telling us which points add or subtract charge. So when we go back to this puzzle, we can then overlay the hint from that piece of paper to show which are going to add charge and which are going to delete charge. And if you mess around with it for a while, you'll figure out how many deviations each one adds or deletes. Positive and negative 7 and positive and negative 5. That's how many deviations it's going to send the charge along on the bar graph. And what we want to do is make it equal that line, which is at 11. So we want to use these sums to equal 11. Okay, so we know a few things now. We know that we want it to equal 11. We also know our sums are plus 7, plus 5, minus 7, and minus 5. We also know our parameters, so we know that we can't go below 0 and we can't go over 15. So our fifth step here is 11. And what we want to work out is our fourth step. So 11 plus 7 is going to equal over 15, so we can't do that one. 11 plus 5, the same thing. 11 minus 7 is going to equal 4. And 11 minus 5 is going to equal 6. So these are the two numbers, 4 and 6, that we need to be at step 4. So now we need to have a look at step 3. So from 4, you can't do minus 7 because it'll be less than 0, and the same for minus 5. So we can discount both of those. We can do plus 7, but that's redundant because in the previous step we did minus 7. So we'd just be getting back to 11. So that one's redundant, but we can do plus 5, which is going to equal 9. Then for 6, we can't do minus 7 again because it's going to be less than 0. We can do minus 5, which is going to equal 1. We can do plus 7, which is going to equal 13. But we can't do minus 5, or sorry, plus 5, because the last step we did was minus 5. So we go back to 11 and be redundant. So now we have the three numbers that we need to get to at step 3, 9, 1, and 13. And then you just keep branching off doing the same thing. So for step 2, you have 9 plus 7 is going to equal 16, which is more than 15, so that one can't be done. Plus 5 is going to equal 14, which is a possibility. Minus 7 is going to equal 2. And minus 5 is redundant to the previous step, which was plus 5. So we can discount that. For 1, we can't do either of the minuses, because that's going to be less than 0. But we can do both of the pluses. So that's going to equal 8. And plus 5. 5 plus 1 is going to equal 6. For 13, we can't do plus 7 because it's going to equal more. We can't do plus 5 because that equals 18, which is again more than 15. But we can do both the minuses. Or we can do minus 5, which is going to equal 8. So now we've got a bunch of numbers for step 2. We've got 2 8s, which can count as 1. So I'll just take out that one. And we've got and we've got 14, 2, 6 and 8. So we know we have step 1, and we know that step 0 is 0, because we start at the beginning. So then we only have one step left to figure out. So 14 plus 7 is too high, plus 5 is too high. 14 minus 7 equals 7. 14 minus 5 is going to equal 9. Can't minus either of them off 2 because it's too low, but we can plus both. So 2 plus 7 equals 9, and 2 plus 5 equals 7. Then for 6 we can minus 5 but not 7, so 6 minus 5 equals 1. 6 plus 5 is going to equal 11. And 6 plus 7 is going to equal 13. And then for 8, 8 minus 7 is going to equal 1. 8 minus 5 is going to equal 3. 8 plus 7 is going to equal 15. And 8 plus 5 is going to equal 13. So we know we're starting at 0. So all of these have to be either 5 or 7. We can see by our list that only 2 are 7. So only 2 roots will be viable to actually equal 11 by step 5. So from this, we can get our numbers. So the circle bits here are 7 and 7. They can basically branch off the same way. So we have step 0 as 0. Step 1 is going to be 7. And that can branch off 2 ways. Basically, we just take this bit and we follow all our circles along. So this 7 came from minusing 7 from 14. So for this one it would be a plus 7. For step 2, which equals 14. Then we can see our other branches. So for this 7, it's plus 5 here, so it'll be minus 5 for us to equal 2. So our other option is to do minus 5 equals 2. So now we can go on to step 3, and I'll just keep going along doing the bubbles. So for 2, this next step will be plus 7, which equals 9. And for 14, it will be minus 5, which equals 9. So then those two actually converge. So we can combine them into 1 for steps 4 and 5. So to get to 9, you have to minus 5. So you get from 9 to get to 4. 9 minus 5 equals 4. And then for step 5, 4 plus 7 equals 11. And you've got your answer. So summing it all up, these first 3 ones can be done either way round because they both equal 9. So you can do 7 plus 7 minus 5, or 7 minus 5 plus 7. They're both going to equal 9. And then the next stage is minus 5 plus 7, which is a net increase of plus 2. 9 plus 2 equals 11. So put in a very simple way, your answer is 7 plus 7 minus 5 plus 7 equals 11. And the order of some of those can be mixed up, but not all of them, because you don't want to go below 0 or above 15. And that's your answer. So back to the puzzle now, and this is just a reminder of each sum and which point it's associated with. So the first thing that you want to do is add 7. We're doing that, and then add 7 again on the same point, and then bring it over to the opposite side for a -5. So you -5, and then -5 again, and then the very last step, bring it all the way back to the beginning, the opposite side, and add 7. So that's how you solve the electricity puzzle in the mine. I'm going to be putting up some of my solutions for the other Quern puzzles in my videos, so if you want to have a look at those, please check them out.